Chapter 5, No Passport Needed, Building an English-First World Around You. Hey friends, welcome back to MindShift. If you've been following along, you know we've been laying the foundation, how to stop translating, how to train your thoughts, and how we personally made that mental shift.
And today? It's time to talk environment. Because let's face it, if your brain is living in a non-English speaking world, it's hard to think in English consistently.
But here's the good news, you don't need to move to London, New York, or Sydney. You can build an English-first world right where you are. No passport required.
Exactly. And it's not about surrounding yourself with perfect English, it's about consistent exposure. So, let's dive into how to design your daily environment so English is the default, not the exception.
1. Your phone, your English trainer. Let's start with something you use 100 times a day, your phone. Switch it entirely to English. Every setting. Every app. Every system notification.
Yes. When your phone's in English, you get micro-reps all day long. You see words like settings, battery saver, airplane mode, without even trying to study.
And the beauty is, you're not memorizing flashcards. You're using English to do life. That's the mindset shift.
Same goes for your computer, Netflix, even your GPS. Change it all to English. Every tiny interaction reinforces that English is normal, not something you only use in class.
2. Build an English audio bubble. Next, your ears. You need to flood your ears with English. Podcasts, music, YouTube, audiobooks.
And not just educational content. Mix in fun stuff. Comedy. True crime. Interviews. Motivational speeches. Whatever gets you hooked.
Exactly. The goal is to get to a point where silence feels weird, because your brain wants that English rhythm in the background.
You're not always actively listening. But your brain is still absorbing structure, tone, word choice. That passive input becomes future output.
3. Make screen time English time.
Let's talk about entertainment. The average person watches 2 to 3 hours of video content a day. That's a huge opportunity.
So make it count. Watch your favorite shows in English, preferably with English subtitles.
Yes, not subtitles in your native language. That trains your brain to rely on translation. English to English subtitles build direct connections.
Even cartoons or reality shows work. You don't need Shakespeare, just consistent English input that you actually enjoy. 4. Create an English-only zone at home.
Let's go physical for a second. Create a corner or even just a desk space where everything is in English. Books, notes, post-its, quotes on the wall.
It sounds simple, but physical cues matter. When you step into that space, your brain knows, this is my English mode.
You can write your to-do list in English. Journal. Brain dump. Read English articles. Use that space like a mental gym for your second language.
And don't underestimate sticky notes. Label things around the room, lamp, drawer, plant. Your house becomes your flashcard.
5. Shift your social media language.
Now, let's talk social media. The algorithm reflects your language choices. If you like, comment, and follow English content, you'll get more of it.
Exactly. So follow creators who speak English. Change your feed. Subscribe to accounts that make you want to read, watch, and engage in English.
Even the comments section can be a learning tool. Read native speakers' interactions. It's casual, real-life English.
And don't be afraid to comment in English. The more you use it, the more it sticks. Social media can be part of your language practice, not just a distraction.
6. Daily English thinking rituals.
Here's something powerful: create tiny English rituals. Before bed, ask yourself, what were the 3 best things that happened today? But answer in English.
Or in the morning, think through your plan for the day, again, in English. You're not talking to anyone, but you're training your inner voice.
You can even talk to yourself in English while doing chores. Okay, I'll wash the dishes first, then go for a walk. These little inner dialogues create fluency.
Fluency isn't about knowing all the words, it's about retrieving them quickly. That comes from use, even silently.
7. Stack English habits.
We're big fans of habit stacking. Attach your English practice to something you already do daily.
Like, while I drink my morning coffee, I'll listen to an English podcast. Or before I check Instagram, I'll read one English quote.
It's about embedding English into your lifestyle, not squeezing it into your schedule. That's how you build an English-first world.
So remember, your brain is shaped by what you feed it. If you surround yourself with English, it becomes home base.
You don't need a plane ticket. You don't need to live abroad. You just need intention. Start small. Build consistently. Let English live with you.
And we're right here with you on the journey. In our next chapter, we'll take it even deeper. We're going inside your head and showing you how to narrate your life in English. Like an inner movie with English subtitles.
It's going to be a game changer. Stick around. Chapter 6: Inner Voice Training: How to Narrate Your Life in English. Hey again, and welcome back to MindShift. We hope you've been building your English-first world after last episode, bit by bit, day by day.
And now, we're going even deeper. Because this is where your thoughts become your fluency. Today we're talking about the inner voice, and how to train it to speak English, naturally.
That inner voice is with you all the time. It comments on things. It argues with itself. It replays conversations. It worries, it jokes, it dreams. It's your constant companion.
And if you're serious about thinking in English, you need to get that voice on board. So in this episode, we'll show you how to narrate your life in English, consciously at first, and eventually automatically.
1. What is the inner voice? Let's start at the root. What exactly is your inner voice? It's not the voice you use when you speak out loud. It's the one you use when no one's around. Your thinking voice.
And most people don't realize it, but that voice can be trained. Just like a muscle. You can redirect it. Shape it. Choose the language it uses.
Exactly. But you have to interrupt your default. If your brain always defaults to your native language, you've got to gently push it toward English. Not with force, just with repetition and intention.
2. Narrate the present moment. Let's get practical. One of the best ways to train your inner voice is to narrate the present moment. What you're doing right now.
If you're walking, think, okay, I'm walking down the street. The sky is cloudy. I see a woman with a red umbrella. Simple, direct thoughts in English.
This is called self-narration, and it rewires your brain to think in English during real life, without waiting for a conversation.
And don't worry about full sentences. It can be fragments, cold wind. Late again. Need coffee. That's still English thinking. Still progress.
3. Replay and rehearse.
Another powerful technique, replaying and rehearsing conversations in English.
Let's say you just talked to your friend in your native language. Afterward, try replaying that conversation in English. She said she's tired. I asked her why. She said work is crazy.
And if you're about to meet someone or go to a meeting, rehearse it mentally in English. What might they say? How will I respond? What's the tone I want to use?
This helps you build the vocabulary you need. It's personal. Relevant. It builds emotional fluency, not just textbook phrases.
4. The daily mental recap. Before you go to bed, try this habit, the English recap. Review your day in your mind using English.
What did I do today? Who did I talk to? What did I feel? What surprised me?
You're not writing it down. You're just replaying your day, silently, in your mind, but in English. It builds memory, context, and language all in one.
And it's your life, so you care about it. That personal interest helps lock in new words and structures.
5. Add emotion to your voice.
Let's talk about emotion. If you want your inner voice to grow strong in English, don't just describe facts. Describe feelings.
Instead of saying it's raining, say, ugh, I hate this weather. Instead of I'm tired, try I can't focus. My brain feels slow today.
Emotion makes language sticky. You remember it more. You own it more.
Plus, English has its own emotional rhythm. Learning to express moods, sarcasm, excitement, it's all part of becoming fluent.
6. Play roles in your mind.
Here's a fun one, mental role play. Imagine different versions of yourself, talking in English.
Maybe you're a confident speaker on stage. Maybe you're giving someone advice. Maybe you're explaining a movie plot.
These mental scenarios allow you to practice without pressure. You control the script. You explore different styles, formal, casual, humorous.
And they prep you for real-life situations. The more you rehearse in your mind, the more natural you sound in reality.
7. Gamify the process.
Turn your inner voice into a challenge. Can you keep it in English for 5 minutes? 10 minutes? While brushing your teeth? While cooking?
Make it a personal game. Today, I'll narrate my walk in English. Or for the next hour, no native language in my thoughts.
It's not about perfection, it's about attention. Training your brain to notice when it switches, and gently bringing it back.
It's like meditation. You'll drift. But the return to English, that's the magic. That's where the growth happens.
So if you're listening right now, and your inner voice is still stuck in your native language, don't worry. That's normal. But it doesn't have to stay that way.
You can teach your thoughts to speak English. You can narrate, replay, rehearse, reflect, all in your second language.
And when that happens consistently, you'll feel the shift. You'll think, that was fast. That didn't feel translated. That's when English becomes your default.
Next week, we're taking on a tricky one: how to stop that annoying voice in your head, the one that corrects every grammar mistake and makes you afraid to speak.
That's right. In Chapter 7, it's time to silence the grammar police in your brain.
You don't want to miss it.